Well, good morning. Have you ever been just ready to quit? Just had enough, fed up with life, and ready to be done with it all? Well, that's where Elijah was. He had just confronted the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel. He had called down the fire of God to consume the sacrifice, while the prophets of Baal had tried in vain to call upon their false god to answer them. And then Elijah had taken a sword and he had said, "Get them," and they had slain all of these prophets of the false god Baal. He had seen the 3.5-year famine and drought break as the cloud the size of a man's hand began to build coming off of the Mediterranean Sea and then begin to dump water all over the plain of Jezreel. And now the Bible tells us that Elijah experiences this incredible bout of depression. It says in 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse 1, "And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, Go, so let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belongeth to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree, and he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers." Elijah was scared for his life because of the threat from Jezebel. He felt like he was the only one left. Have you ever felt that way? Like you're the only one left? He felt that he was the only one who was actually still faithful to God in all the land of Israel. Well, the story goes on that God sent an angel to feed Elijah a couple of different times, and then he traveled 40 days to Horeb, to the mountain of God. And there Elijah encounters God. And the Bible says, he told him, "Go forth, stand upon the mount before the Lord." And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and brake in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so, when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle, and went out, and stood in the entering of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him, and said, What doest thou here, Elijah? And he begins to have this conversation with God. And he said, "Oh God, I'm the only one left. And now I'm in trouble. I'm just ready to die." But you know what? God wasn't ready for Elijah to die yet. As a matter of fact, Elijah still had work to do. He had some kings and some prophets to anoint, and God tells him, this is what you've still got left to do. You know, you and I, we don't get to die until we're done with our job here on earth. That's just the bottom line when it comes to a follower of Jesus. Paul says at the end of his life in 2 Timothy, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have completed the course that the Lord has laid out for me." Now, there was a time earlier when Paul said that he was ready to die. He was thinking about it in Philippians chapter 1 and verse 23. He says, "For I'm in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better." If you're a believer, you know it's far better to be with Christ than to be here. He says, "Nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful for you." Paul knew that he still had work to do here. And he says, "Having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you all for your furtherance and joy of faith." You still got work to do until you finished that work. When you finish that work, then God takes his people home. Listen to me. It's important that you and I understand God has a plan for us here on this earth. He has good works that he has prepared for us in advance, that we should walk in them. The day of our death, we do not know. But what we do know is that as long as we're here, we have meaningful and important work to do in the service of Jesus our King. I want to encourage you this morning, keep on keeping on for Jesus. You may not fully understand exactly what's going on, but know this, God is not finished with you yet. God bless you. Hope that you have a great day.